How about D?
Hey, cash me outside, girl.
Cash me outside. How about D?
Listen, I got to tell you some crazy stuff, man. I got fired from work.
How about D?
And I've been hiding it for about a week, and I've just been sitting around, and I'm back to drinking. I was hanging out at the bars, drinking Jack and Diets because I don't know what to do anymore. I lost the job, and I know I've been supporting you. We've been living together for a few years now, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I feel like I'm not a real man anymore.
Cash me outside. How about D? How about D?
Can we just have a serious discussion right now about? I know that's your thing, but can we please just say
Cash
anything?
me outside.
Hey, Julia's here. Really? No clapping for Julia? No one cares? Okay.
How about D?
You're listening to the Double D's podcast.
I'm Dom.
I'm d.respect.
You got a great set of tits.
I get so angry thinking about this kid.
Because that's what most people are bitching about.
New York, you know what I mean? We like to eat out here. You know?
You gotta stop looking at interacting with people online as a cheap date. My father used to drink.
Get the fuck away from me. I'm done.
I come a lot, by the way.
You're doing all the rap stuff.
If you didn't say it, somebody in the comment section would have said it.
It's like how you feel when you're having a paranoid high.
That's a dynamic connection right there. You're listening to Double D's.
How about that?
I'm d.respect. Thank you for listening to yet another installment of the Double D's podcast. Maybe last week we took it easy on you guys, but I'm not gonna let you off the hook this time. We need to get this video over 120 likes. No more are we doing this 100 like shit. We are going 120 likes. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, the Double D skit cast is in the description below. Consider it, putting some change in the tip jar for these poor, starving artists. Just help us out. Just give us some bread and water.
Thank you, folks, for listening. And
why do you start every show like a cult leader?
because that's where I come from. I don't think you understand what it's like to be me. So let me clue you in, my friend.
Okay.
Let me clue you in. Real talk. I have two recurring nightmares in my life. Okay. One of them is when I go to school and I haven't done my assignments properly and my diplomas were revoked. I have to go back to class to finish my degree, and it's always math. Like, the dream always starts with some I don't know, teacher, like, you know what, I know you have your bachelor's degree and everything, but you gotta go back, you gotta do everything all over again because this one class is nullified, blah blah blah. That's one nightmare I have. But the other one is going back to church, being locked in churches, giving speeches at church. I always feel trapped.
What does this have to do with you starting off the podcast like you want us to drink the poisonous Kool-Aid?
I'm getting to it.
All right,
finish.
so get to it.
So, being raised in a cult is in my blood, you understand? Mm-hmm. And these kids who are listening to me right now, they will feel the word of Dom, all right? They'll I hate speaking to third person. I don't know how you do it, frankly. But that's how I start a conversation.
So let's start the show again, but let's be in a higher vibration.
All right, cool. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your boy. How you feeling out there on the pasture? I hope you doing good. It's me, Cowboy, and I'm subbing in for Dom. And today we gonna talk about my second favorite food, hot dogs. D.respect.
That's still something that you can eat with baked beans. So
Yes, that's true. But D.respect, what kind of food do you like?
Chinese food. I'm a New Yorker. That's what I eat.
I ain't never met a Chinese person before.
Because you live in fucking San Antonio. They're not out there.
Is it San Antonio?
See, that's not a lie. Hold up, that is a lie. You used to date blogger Chan.
Nah, man, don't tell nobody about that.
Oh well, I know. I know the history between you and blogger Chan. I know what you did.
I would like to drop some bars right now on the show.
You just want to avoid what I just said, but go ahead, go for it.
Hey man, hey, first give me a word to freestyle from, so they know it's off
violin.
the dome. Is that?
Is that too difficult? Why did you wince, cowboy? When I just gave you the word, you said
I wasn't wincing. Okay, here we go. Violin, tire spin. My bars are gonna win.
Papa John's.
Yo, why'd you interrupt? I'm leaving.
I'm throwing word.
No, he'll come back later. But I do have an announcement to make, folks. I have an announcement to make on this show. That right now, I still have a cold, okay? And I love to talk about my bodily functions, how my hair is growing when we start the show. I got to say, we're sponsored today by Rite Aid Tussin, cough and chest congestion. It's a nice little delicious drink. I'm gonna be drinking some of this scissor and reviewing it in the middle of the show. So stay tuned.
This is your announcement?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Before the show, we were having a conversation about the classic question.
It's your perverted friend who's a little bit. I don't even say closeted gay, just a pervert.
No, it's a question that every kid in junior high school because in this society, admittingly, in this society, men are taught that their worst nightmare growing up, and if you're stupid enough to fall for it, you're homophobe for the rest of your life. The worst thing that could happen to you is that you could end up sucking a dick. It's the absolute most horrifying experience ever known to man. So the question that most kids ask each other is, would you suck a dick for blank amount of money?
The correct answer when you're a child, when you're a little boy who doesn't understand life, is no, I'm such a man, no.
Yo, chill. You sort of have to react like Khaled if somebody asks you if the vocals came in yet. Hey, yo, Don, the vocals come in yet?
No, it's top secret. I ain't sucking dick. I like that.
Chill. Yeah,
no, but I was saying, I was talking to a friend and I was telling her like, I will do it with pleasure for $1 million. I'll say it right now on the internet, dude. I don't give a fuck. But then I was telling d.respect, I was like, it's easy, dog. I just get in there for 2 minutes, blah, 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 and I'm done.
And then
2 minutes,
and then Dom is posed with a very practical question that I want some of you to consider too.
I never thought about this before.
Patrice O'Neal once said that what makes men more fun than women is because we get philosophical about dumb shit. And we're about to get philosophical about some real stupid shit. So I asked Dom, you want to get him off in 20 minutes, but how could you...
I said 2 minutes.
In 2 minutes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But how could you expect to do that after having no prior knowledge or skill about sucking dick that I know of?
Yeah.
If you are inexperienced and in an ideal situation, you would like to be offered the most money to do it for the least amount of time. So in a dream situation, you want him to fucking nut as soon as fucking possible.
Right.
But how is that possible when you've never done? And what's even crazier is that the very same reason why it's going to take you an hour to suck his dick is why you had to be compensated for it, because you're getting paid $1 million an hour, because that's how long it's gonna take.
You know what? Like, here's the other issue. Okay, the fact that I'm not skilled at all, right? And I'm so conceited. I think my pretty mouth is gonna make him come immediately, right? Which is absolutely not gonna be the case. But the other thing we never talk about is who is this guy? Who is this guy who's spending this money? And what if he can't get hard? What if he looks at me and he's like, I'm not even gay, dude. Like, I don't even like the idea of a man sucking my... And I'm like, I'm here.
What kind of a fucking mind fuck is that? You mean I'm sucking your dick and you're telling me
not even hard.
Like,
dude.
That's what I'm worth?
Yeah, I'd be like, what? You don't like this? Why'd you call me out here? Right. I don't know, boy. Go ahead, continue. But I don't like what the fuck?
I don't know what to tell you, bruh. Just keep going.
Listen. Answer me honestly. Would it hurt your feelings?
Would it hurt my feelings?
The dude couldn't get hard. Like, yeah, you never think about that, right?
Would it hurt my
would
feelings
you-
if
would
I
you
was
fuck a
blowing
dude?
a guy for like $2 million.
No, and he doesn't not even.
he doesn't
at
encourage
all.
me, right? He doesn't encourage
It's like
me.
it's like a little nub.
Dude,
He's like
I'd
nothing.
probably be like, I'm getting paid for this. It's just like, I'd probably say, don't talk. Like, just, I don't want to hear what your voice sounds like because it's going to echo in my fucking nightmares for the rest
You'll
of my
remember every word.
Slower, faster, stronger.
Hey, man.
It's Kanye. Kanye's the one that's getting blown.
Yeah, but that's still a nightmare situation because I don't want to be there, and then apparently he doesn't want to be there, and it's like this guy is so rich that you can get like a person who doesn't want to suck his dick at all, and is not experienced to do that, and it's not even. Oh, it's terrible.
Unless,
Yeah,
of
but
course, you were in the sort of scenario where somebody, sort of in a Black Mirror universe, where somebody had some dirt on you, they had some dirt on me, and I have to allow a guy to blow me, and you've got to blow me for the money. Unless it was a moment like that, I mean, then
I'm killing myself. Dude.
my tears.
It's not no, but listen.
We could use that as lubrication.
I'm serious, dude. Like, if they have that information on you to the point where they have, like, they're forcing one of your friends to suck your dick, dude, kill yourself at that point, man. Because it's not, no, but listen, it's not about the dick sucking because you're being bullied and it will not end. Mm-hmm. So either you go there and you fucking find out how to kill that person or you let the shit get leaked because it will not. This is shut up and dance.
Yeah.
Like, you have to know when your back is against the. There's nothing I've done that is so terrible that I won't leak the information myself.
Yeah.
You would have to, like, we have information on a link you clicked on. Yeah, okay, cool. I'll tell people. There's nothing I've done. I'm unblackmailable, dude. You can't tell nobody about me.
Well, you can't run for president in 20 to 30 years. When the president becomes a revolving door, when it becomes like jury duty and it's your turn, they're not going to let you run. They're not going to let you work that week as president.
Why? Because I talk about fat dicks every week
This
on the
is
internet?
playing in a court of law right now, and I'm going
Hey.
through my week of service of being the president. I'm just looking at you, shaking my head like, Tom.
I want to tell the jury, if this is in a court right now, being used in a court case in the future, the jury, you're a bunch of busters, okay? All of you. Especially you with the red tie. Yeah, you think I don't see? Yeah, I know.
Strong words from a man who's not president.
Who do you think will be a better lawyer prosecution lawyer out of the both of us?
A prosecution lawyer. Okay, so this would mean we are in the offensive.
Yes, you're trying to
Right.
see the fact that you said that means that you're not ready to take.
Well, that just means I don't know the technical vernacular, but that doesn't mean I'd be
Sir,
less
it is
capable
all about the
than you.
technical terms in this court of law.
Oh
Okay, sir?
shit! Now you're going lawyer on me.
Yes, this is all semantics, my friend, and I am a Southern lawyer, I must add.
Okay. Well, did you ever have any? Because that's always the Is that what people say to children, right? They say to children when you see a kid arguing, "You should be a lawyer," because I'm sure when every lawyer hears that, they cringe. Like, really? That's all I do? Argue? That's what I do.
You know what?
That's what I went to school for 8 years for, to argue.
You know what else they tell little kids? Hey, little Timmy, come here. You might grow up one day to be a sad man who's sucking a dick for $1 million, and the guy won't even enjoy it. Now run along now, little boy. That's gonna play in court, but yeah, they always say you could be a doctor, lawyer, engineer. Those are the top 3 professions. If you're one of those, yay, you did it, right? Your mommy and daddy's gonna be proud. Everything you've ever done is great, and you never have to worry about anything again, right? Those are the professions.
Dude, I dated an Indian girl who was in the medical field, and she was a nurse, and she would constantly tell me that the only reason why she is a nurse is because of family pressure.
Was she African?
No, she was Indian.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, so she said only
Oh,
because
boy.
of family pressure is the reason why I'm doing this, and obviously how she's being compensated for it is she has a very I wouldn't say affluent. She will in the future, but she's very comfortable. You understand what I'm saying? So
She'll be fine the rest of her life.
but that catches up to you though.
How so?
That catches up to you because after a while your expenses become Y, everything else becomes Z, and the money that you make is no longer I think if you're in that stage, you're still on the up and up. She was still in school. She was studying to be a nurse practitioner. Nurse practitioners, that's like probably, I'm sure it's well within six figures, going way high up there. So after being a nurse practitioner for 20 years, your expenses just become what they, and the money that you have is the money that you have. You've seen places. At the end of the day, what feeds that desire, and what feeds that desire is what the fuck you wanted to do, not what was appropriate for other people's validation. So, it's a hell of a trap, man. Hell of a trap. I'm sure a lot of these guys, they go through it. I mean, that's part of the reason why they listen to this podcast. And we know that a lot of you guys listen to this podcast because it's a very obscure, it's very niche. So it aligns with your weird freaking personalities, and we understand that.
Yeah.
And because we're fucking both weird, obviously. So so we could totally understand. You guys always send us questions. I mean, the question that Dom and I mostly always get, and we got the question today via Snapchat because we asked you guys to send in questions, is pretty much the overlapping theme is, how do I become this? How do I become this? How do I become what I want to become? And obviously you don't ask us that question because you think we have the answer. Nobody has the answer to that question because you have to figure that out on your own. People can only share their experiences and what they've been through, but you obviously have to do what works for you. But there are some underlining principles that most people will tell you, and one thing that we can all agree on, I'm sure, is do what you want to do. It doesn't mean slap people. It doesn't mean get a gun and kill, and go and kill 12 kids, like Sandy
Jesus.
Hook. Which, by the way, whenever I hear that Rick Ross song, what is it? No love, cry when only babies die. That's either so sophisticated. I think it's so sophisticated when he says no love, cry when only babies die. So you can be sure of one thing about Sandy Hook: Rick Ross cried. So yeah, so when we say do what you want to do, don't hurt people, but do what the fuck you want to do, and that's it.
It is that simple, and it's also not that simple.
Okay.
You know why? And I'm gonna explain it to you folks who might not be enlightened, because I can speak to the visual art realm, right? Look, if you want to do is draw, on a very basic level, what d.respect is saying, and what I'm saying is draw. But it really isn't that simple, because we all know most people who draw aren't that good. Most people who do if it's singing you want to do, most people aren't that good. And they're never going to be, they're not going to be able to make a living. And by the way, if you can make a living from what you like doing on a very basic level, you have won far beyond the most people's wildest dreams, right? So we have to have a conversation. You have to have an honest conversation first with yourself about where you are, right? Where you currently are in time. So it's like, if you want to draw for a living, that's cool, and I understand that you want to do that, but you can't suck. You either can't suck, or you need to be know a lot of people, or you have to have some kind of brilliant scheme to get one over on people. You know what I'm saying? You can't just do the thing. You can't just do it and expect money to come to you. That's absurd. Mm-hmm. So don't fall into a trap thinking if I just do what I love and everything's going to be rainbows. That is a big component of it, but you also need to be very, very smart about how you approach it.
Well, who's to tell them that they suck if they're doing it now? If you haven't put something out on the free market, I mean, the internet is the free market, right?
It is.
Yeah, the internet is the free market. If you haven't put it out on the free market, how would you know?
Taste.
Because your circle of friends obviously aren't going to be the ones.
Yeah, so don't listen to them. Don't show them your music. Don't show them your drawings. No one gives a fuck about. Don't listen to them, because they will not tell you what you need to hear.
It's not. Here's where it's not meant for their ears. just always remember that when people know you personally and whatever it is that you do, they can't turn down the noise of knowing you 10, 15 years. That you are something else to them. So they don't see your work. They see you in your work. They see everything almost sort of to the point where you tend to see it, which is why you would judge your work more than anybody else would. I think people in your life would do that too. And it's not to say that it's something negative. It's just human nature. It's like, what, I've known you for 20 years and now you're going to make a country music album? All right, I'll listen to it. And then, they're listening to your lyrics and then they're like, well, was this like the time when, so don't make them your compass. They're great for encouragement and overall support, but they're not who you're targeting.
But you gotta be your own, Van. That's the only way. And I'm not saying this in like, there's a very fine line that you gotta walk with this shit in terms of taste. And taste is this. I'm not, if I want to make a film, I'm not Stanley Kubrick, right? But I can look at his stuff and it's basically being able to look at something and distill what you like about it and what's bad about it. Like what you like or dislike about something. What is good versus bad. You got to take a stance on something that's something that you like and enjoy and understand too why you like it. Because if like D.Respect has just like an encyclopedia of like broadcasting and hip hop and all this shit that's inside of his brain from like, and honestly, this is kind of one of those things that you might just be gifted with. If you find that you're one of those people where it's like you can just recall phrases and sounds and like pictures and imagery from way the fuck back, that's what I'm talking about. Like when you see something that really makes a mark on you when you were younger and you always find that you keep going back to it as like your North Star. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for influences to sort of show you, okay, I want to make something that's as good at that. So, okay, if you say that you want to make something that's as good as whatever that thing is, you look at the thing you drew in front of you and it's clearly not that, right? You have to be willing to accept and admit where you are, which is, again, most likely you're not that great.
But I don't like this point that you keep bringing it to, which is
dude, you have to
you
admit
crescendo.
it,
but you listen, if you're talking to somebody who has the ground zero question of how do I become this, they already are aware of failure and being bad at it.
Not really, dude. No,
that's what's being focused on.
How many SoundCloud rappers have you listened to? Like people sending you their shitty ass music and they don't know where they are, and they're not acknowledging that they shouldn't be.
See, but the thing is that you keep saying it like there's this black and white issue. I mean, look, what we're saying is devoid of all criticism. It's void of all of that because okay, I got one word for you, Lil Yachty. Who cares? Shut up. Who cares? It doesn't matter. That's not important right now. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't, whether somebody's
your
good.
Skill level doesn't matter, dude. Really?
Look, the way that I'm approaching this is as you're looking to get step one. If you're looking to get to step one, it doesn't matter. If a child gets up and tries to walk when the child falls down, you don't tell the child like, get up, you fucking idiot. You don't say that. You just get up and just keep walking. Just keep walking. Don't worry about because I feel like that's basically like telling them, be aware of your mistakes and really pay attention to that. I think you've avoided that. You don't pay attention to your mistakes because if you did, you wouldn't put out content.
Are you joking, dude?
Yeah, no. How am I joking?
No, it's not what I'm saying. Because when I look at my shit, I know where I need to improve. I know exactly where my mistakes are. Every time I put a drawing out, even if it gets published online, I look at it and I see where I'm not succeeding and what I need to succeed in. You have to constantly keep shining this shit and getting better. How do you get better otherwise? Okay,
but you're not. You're
okay. So you're not talking about.
No, but you're answering the question. Somebody's asking you about information on how to learn how to exercise, and you're telling them about sneaker sizes and what's comfortable. You're on step 1,000. That's like they can't even conceive that. This is to the point where it's like you've made the product. Focus on making the product good. If somebody's asking you, how do I become this? A lot of times a person doesn't. How many times do kids email us and they ask us, I want to be something? It's never anything specific. So that would lead you to believe that they don't even know what it is yet. Okay. So when somebody doesn't know what it is yet, you're telling them, make sure you're not bad at it. It's like, what? Make sure you're not bad at something I don't even know? If somebody says I want to be a rapper, okay, they are on another step. I am, what is, therefore I am, therefore I am, whatever the fuck.
Cogito ergo sum?
I don't know what that is. That's the Latin.
I think therefore I am. Is that what you're looking for?
I think therefore I am. There you go.
Okay.
I think therefore I am. That's it. I want to be a rapper. This is what I have decided to do in this world, in this flesh suit that I have. I want to be a recording artist. Okay. You can tell that person things like that, but somebody who doesn't even have an idea, it's like, what? Is
that how you interpret? Like what's okay? The
because
question is,
I think those questions are coming from that. I mean, look, when I've only read one voiceover book in my life. I forgot the name of the book, but a strong suggestion that they had was whenever you're performing a character, you must emulate that character to the T. Does this character sound like their back would be hunched over? Do they sort of have are they biting their tongue? Are they squinting their eyes? What sort of, what shirt would this character wear? If you're reading an email by somebody who says, how do I do this and how do I do that, with no specific title to anything, this isn't you writing to Gary Vaynerchuk saying, Gary, I've been an illustrator for all these years on YouTube. I'm a freelancer. I'm this, I'm that. You've made those decisions already. But somebody who vaguely asks, how do I do anything? How do I break myself out of doing what? Ground zero.
Okay, ground zero. Okay. You're right. Ground zero. Ooh, Jesus. What does this person like doing? That's a terrible
because partially I feel that's why that question gets asked so much, because we continue to sort of address it, giving them a little too much credit and underestimating how you can be conditioned when you grow up in a household where it's like, well, no, this is what you have to do and these are the rules, and you know what I'm saying? So if you start at that very, at the beginning of everything, then maybe you guys wouldn't fucking ask us that question every 2 weeks.
Oh, no. Trust me. It's going to happen.
It's going to keep happening.
In fact, you know what else I want to do right now? As I promised, I'm going to sample some of this tussin, and then we're going to get into this question. Again, I want to get into this the right way. All right, I'm going to pour the recommended capful of this tussin, okay?
Okay.
Hang on.
Hey, yo, you taking that tussin? Motherfucker, why you fussing? I'll put my dick inside your girl like she's a turkey and I'm the stove top stuffing. And all my niggas are coming over. And all my niggas are coming over. Do you hear me? Do you hear me clearly, cowboy? You ain't fucking with me, boy. I'm a man, you a boy. I will destroy any cowboy, nigga.
Hey, listen, nigga, you a duck.
Off.
You a duck, and nigga, I don't give a fuck. I just sip some of this lean for good luck, and your girl gon' get a nip tuck.
I ain't got no girl, fam. You keep whatever, man.
I used to watch that show Nip Tuck.
I ain't gonna respond. I ain't gonna respond.
You ain't gonna say anything?
Your girl was giving me a suck. Hey man, can I borrow a buck?
Cowboy letting us know about his financial woes.
Nigga, you rolling in the 6 with your financial woes.
Cowboy needs to borrow $1. Oh, right. I was supposed to tell you guys how it tasted. It tastes like Robitussin. It is not very good. It is Rite Aid brand Tussin. Don't drink that. Okay, let's get back to what you were saying, because I'm fascinated by this. I know this about myself. Okay. I know that I get into step 10 very often, and it's very, very hard to talk about step 0. So this is a challenge for me right now to talk about step 0. to talk about Ground Zero, to talk about 9/11.
You're stalling. Okay, let me get to something. Okay, so you know what I think is very underestimated, and back to the point that Dom was making when he was saying, when you have certain information in your head, what's very common is that you'll see in people is that the abilities that people can do easily are the ones that they will discard. Like almost like they didn't feel like they earned it, so they ignore it. And, once again, to mention somebody who I just mentioned on the podcast, to mention Gary Vaynerchuk, something that he often says is your problem is you keep focusing on what you're not good at. And ignoring what you are good at. So if you meet someone who has an unbelievable ability to just remember information in their head, like, you ever give somebody like a list of things to buy, like, oh, go to the deli and get like 4 or 5 people some sandwiches, and some guy who's just like, oh yeah, have it, yeah, all right, you want bagel with cream cheese, you want this, you want that. I can't fucking hold all that fucking information in my head at once. You know what I'm saying? Somebody like Logic comes to mind. Do you know what I'm saying? The fact that Logic can do a Rubik's Cube and rap at the same time lets me know that he's capable of something else besides rapping.
You always say that.
Because that's amazing.
You're like, why are you rapping?
Why are you rapping? Why are you wasting your time? I should make a video on that. But yeah, so
Ground Zero. I'm gonna keep you in check too, man.
Yeah. So my Ground Zero advice is don't ignore what you are good at. Don't overlook it.
Nurture that motherfucker.
What is that? Ew.
I don't know. No, CT Fletcher. I don't know.
How do they know though? Let's keep Ground Zero. I'm thinking of a 17-year-old boy, like decently smart in school, right? Like that kind of thing. Like that's the level, right?
How do they know? They know because this is where you use contrast. Look at other peers that you go with, people that you go to school with. Are they as good at the thing that you're good at? Are they as good? And when we say that, I don't necessarily mean something that you can bring out that it's tangible. Maybe it's an intangible thing that you've noticed that you've gotten, you may have been praised for it. People tend to notice that you're the person to go to for it, So I know that's difficult when it gets into that intangible realm. It's not something that you can see. But if you join that together with what you constantly think about, are you also good at what you constantly think about? I mean, some would say that's that's a chicken before the egg. You
haven't even started.
Well,
starting Ground Zero.
Well, what do you mean? How do you know you're good at it?
You said, are you good at the thing that you really like? Like, are we talking about a person who hasn't even started?
Sorry, no. Not are you good? I'm sorry. Do you constantly think about the thing that you're? Yeah. You have me tripping on my words. Yes, that you're good at. That you saying that somebody's good at somebody doesn't necessarily have to mean that they'll find out once they put it out in the market. When you are. When you're well equipped in an area.
You know what? You're right, and this contradicts what I was saying earlier because I was saying that you should like focus on your faults and getting better and all that stuff. But if I woke up tomorrow and I drew the way I did when I was in 6th grade, I would jump off a building. Yeah. So like, yeah, but I knew back then that I had something because no one else was doing it as good as I was. So like.
Yeah, you compared it to everyone else. Nobody else was doing it, so that's it. See, I think when you make that observation, it's not necessarily like, "Oh, I'm better than those people." No, that is your measuring. That's your measuring stick. I'll give you an example. The other night, I was running, and I don't time my runs. I don't time my runs, but there was an Asian man he was running in the park with me. And we were lapping each other several times. We were running in opposite directions. And I thought, I don't know how long I've been running, but I can use him as a measuring stick to know my speed and everything by judging every moment which we meet, the area in which we meet. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So, since we were going around a couple times, we acknowledged each other at one point, like, all right, I got you, dog. I got you. Yeah. But with him, I was able to sort of, in a weird way, measure my performance. Even though I wasn't looking at the time. And in that same way, you can sort of measure the things that you do well when you look at your peers. And again, it's not like a hierarchy. I'm better than, because your peers can do things better than you. Everybody has a set of skills. And it's just not one thing. It's several things that you compile together you just fart it out. So just remember, what I'm telling you is, I'm not telling you if you're good at rapping. It doesn't have to be that general. It can be something so small. You got to remember, you got to get the ingredients together. If d.respect was a young d.respect, it's okay. I'm okay with talking in front of crowds of people. I'm not shy. Okay, put that together. Hey, I like music. All right, put that together. I love radio. All right, hey, put that together. Start putting those ingredients together. You mix that motherfucker up, and then, you know what I'm saying? So
that's advanced, dude.
You think that's advanced?
I think so.
It's not advanced, I think, because I think most of them probably thought when I said what you're good at was something more general. It's like, well, shit, am I good at basketball? No. Dice it up. Are you really good? Are you a very physical person? Are you athletic? You put a couple things together and you want to be a fucking massage therapist or something like that. Something within the health field. Do you understand what I'm saying? This doesn't have to be as linear as, oh, that's it. I'm athletic. I want to be a basketball player. You know what I'm saying?
You know what though? Like, and this is a little
advanced. Maybe I'll think
a little bit, because I keep trying to think of ground zero. I keep thinking about the kid who doesn't know at all, like any, like if they're good at anything. There's a lot of people like that, man. What happens? Like, real talk, man. Because I know this happens to you, because it happens to me a lot. Then again, I think I'm more of an asshole than you in this case. But like, when do you know that someone doesn't have it? Like, you just look at, you're talking to them and you're like, dude, you're not gonna. Like, when do you know
that somebody doesn't have it?
They just don't have it.
When they don't have it is when somebody doesn't have it, I think in terms of, it's not that they don't have it talent wise, they just don't have it because when they show you things, they talk you out of liking it. You know, I've told these guys may remember when I used to take email questions, and I used to do the email show with them, and I would tell them about the rappers that would hit me up, and they would all say the same thing. They would always say, hey man, I haven't remastered it, all this stuff. And it's like, dude, I don't want to listen to this now. Tell me it's the greatest. Look, am I going to click on it? I don't know, but tell me it's the fucking greatest shit ever. Like, tell me it is, and I'll listen to it and let me draw my own conclusion. But if you tell me I haven't finished verses 3 and 4 and I got to add some Mad Libs and it hasn't been remastered yet, this fucking Julio did. When I met Julio on 42nd Street, tried to give me a mixtape. He was like, oh,
he literally gave you a tape.
Yeah, he gave me a tape and he was like, there's no music on it yet. There's like a couple instrumentals on it. It's like, dude, but that's when I can feel that somebody doesn't have it it's confidence. You have no confidence in what you're doing. You don't believe in it, so why the fuck should anybody else?
But to me, that's a lot more technical. It's like, oh, you're not even smart enough to know that you're supposed to finish something before you give it to somebody. Like, don't give me like a half-finished sketch of something that's shitty anyway, and expect me to look at it like it's done. Like, it's not done. It's not even close to done. Like, if the shit isn't mastered and a verse is missing and all, it's like, at least finish the thing you're.
Song, if it's not.
Hey man, hey, you better watch out, boy. No, but at least that shows. You're right. It shows confidence, but also technical abilities. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna show you this thing. Like, it's completely unfinished though. It's like, come on, man. The thing that ruins me is like, you meet a woman who's like, oh, why do I say woman? I'm revealing too much. You meet someone. Actually, I'm gonna step out of this. I'm about to reveal too much. You meet a woman whose name's Sadie, and she's 32, and she fucking comes over to your house. And I guess the point I was gonna make is like, I don't know, like when you the thing that annoys me most is like if you have a dream to do something and you're like 40 or some shit and you haven't, like you've never done it, like you haven't even tried it once, and you're like, man, I always wanted to do comics and shit, but it's like you're 40 and it's like you never even drew or wrote a story ever. And you just look at them like, dude, like why are you even telling me this?
Well, it's that
You're
sounds like
done
a
at that
nightmare.
point.
That sounds
You're
like a
done.
nightmare. Well, you're not done at that point. You're never done, and that's only because I'm you know,
You're being very nice.
yeah, I'm being very
saying-
nice to
I'm
say
giving
that
you the real.
technically you're not done. But if you don't develop that habit, then, you know, hey, look, I mean, Dom and I can both say that, you know, as YouTubers, as a YouTuber, you would love it if you were on YouTube for 2-3 years and you were making a living off of it. But what's important is that you don't stop and you keep producing, and obviously you do see results. The funny thing about content creation is that you see progress even if there isn't any, because you know that little things matter. Little small details of things that happens or interactions that happen where you know it's a good sign that your content is going in the right direction. So it's a very strange animal, and that's a conversation for another podcast. But I really think that if you don't develop that habit, you know, if you don't develop that habit to always, you know, just going at it like Rocky would, just imagine Rocky when he was fighting Ivan Drago. He just kept going for, like, dude, look at his face. It's all swollen, and he's just like, Rocky, move to the left side, to the right side, to the left side. And he just keeps going, and then eventually, you know, Adrian, we did it. So that's obviously the Mickey Mouse school of motivation. You know, it's like, just keep going forward. But you're a complex human being. There's a lot of factors that go into it. There's outside influences, which will most times be your biggest hurdle. Your hurdle is not you. Your hurdle is not you, because when you actually get to know yourself better, you know how good you understand yourself. Your hurdle is going to have to be to stop giving a shit about the things that people that don't even like you, how they feel about you.
Damn.
Because most people don't like you. That's just how we
Really?
are. We're human.
Most people?
Hey, look, man. Look, I mean, obviously, we're human beings. We're used to being in small packs.
Yeah.
You know, so if you have a community of people that you know, it's probably like 80 people, 30 to 40 of those motherfuckers don't give a shit about you. They wouldn't even, you know, not to say that they don't care about you, but it's just you're not.
Oh,
You would never. Always forget what this quote is from.
What's the quote?
You would always. I'm butchering it. It's.
No,
you
go ahead.
wouldn't care what people thought about you if you knew how seldom they actually did.
Okay.
People don't think about you. I think that to me is me going 10. That's to me going 10. Because I think that is what hinders people more than anything. I feel that once you get to know yourself good enough, you can create that shit in your hands, and that's the easy part. You know what I'm saying? That's the easy part. But being able to not be that Indian girl that I dated that was, you know, where family members were like, hey, look, this is what has to happen here. You know, this is what has to happen. You have to do this.
Being able to say fuck you to them.
Being able to
that's
just
tough.
say fuck you, man. Yes, absolutely.
When you're an immigrant kid, like that's
you're an
really-
immigrant, that's another one.
Jesus.
That's another one.
Ooh boy.
Guys, let us know if you guys are, you know, obviously most of us are immigrant backgrounds.
Yeah,
we mean strict parents. You know what I'm saying? If you're a Dominican, if you're Puerto Rican, yes, we're immigrants, but traditionally Dominican and Puerto Rican parents aren't strict. You know, they can be stern and they can pop you upside the head with a fucking chancleta, but they're not strict necessarily. Will they tell you, you know, none of my friends that I know came from houses where it was like, you had to be this. It's just not a thing in the Dominican in the Dominican community.
Yeah, because y'all lazy, dude.
Yeah, which is very surprising considering the fact that, you know, our parents were born out of these sort of tyrannical governments. So you would think that they would be a bit more stern, but it's not the case. But yeah, if you're Korean, if you're Indian, if you're African in a lot of cases, you come from very strict households. So that's difficult. I mean, that's something that I can't speak to because I did not come from that. My parents were never like that. There was never, you know, there were difficulties in school, but it was never a thing where you better fucking do this. It was a vague, you better go to school. It wasn't, you better be this thing. You know, that girl's being told you need to be in the medical field. You understand?
I was never told you need to be this thing specifically, but it was like, you obviously you're going to graduate high school. It was more like the feeling of like you're going to graduate high school and like you're going to go to college too. And it was one of those things where it was just like it was just understood. I used to get my ass beat for having bad grades. My grades were never even that good. My brother had really good grades. He was the smart one, the math brain, and I wasn't any of that. But it was super strict. And again, it wasn't specifically about what I was going to be, but the main thing I got shit about was like, you're not going to be like these other kids. You're going to go to high school and you're going to go to college. But even more importantly than going to college is that, like, I wasn't going to get any financial aid from anyone in my family, which is what happened. I didn't get any financial aid from any of them, and I managed. But yeah, they were serious about that shit. Like they were like, if you're going to college, which you are, I'm not going to pay for it. So, I understand. Like, I think I was in levels of strictness in terms of career strictness. I was probably like a 6 or 7 or something like that. But yeah, that's one of those things where like I've also said this before on Twitter. I think we had a conversation about this where I was never really encouraged to do art at any point. It was just something like Dominic draws. That's what he does for fun, like whatever. Kind of like a shrugging thing, but that's one of those things. It can be an asset if you can really fuck your own mind up and like rewire the thing. If you have one of those strict like African parents who wants you to be a doctor and you're on that track, you can jujitsu yourself into making good shit happen on the side in between when you're studying. It's going to be hard, but I think if you have those strict parents, that strict parentage and all that stuff, and that guilt, that immigrant guilt, you can become a better illustrator or whatever the fuck you want to be, a better rapper than all these American kids, because they don't have that. They don't have that thing. So you got to use those assets, man.
Yeah, that's definitely the theme that I've gotten when I've been with a girl who's a foreign girl. For example, a few African girls that I've been with, they have this sort of, well, I'm African and I come from, so
yeah, they're proud. Yeah, it's a real.
It's
thing.
proud, but it's definitely a little douchey sometimes. It's kind of like, I'm not like those black people over there. I come from something else. We have a country. We're very strict. We're hard workers.
I told you I'm not saying I grew up racist, but like the people who raised me were like kind of racist against American black people.
Yeah.
It's this thing of like culturally they're not the same.
It's all that's how all Caribbean, just black, brown cultures are. We are raised
Jesus.
to look at African Americans, just Americans who live in this country, and saying, at least you're not that. Which is how which is how they say that's the classic method that elite whites used to sort of convince poor whites that racism was really beneficial for them, because at least you're not black, right? Poor white people. So then poor white people look at black people too, and they go, oh, at least we're not you. Meanwhile, elite whites are like, yeah, they get away with whatever they want because they have us looking at each other. But that's how whites and blacks can both be victims of racism, I think. White people are victims of racism themselves, because there are white people in this country that focus on race just as much as black people, and that's how they spend their whole lives. And these are people who can't listen to conversations like this because there is something completely different that has taken over their mind. So we're speaking Chinese. So just remember that if whether level 10 or whatever the fuck whatever the fuck I felt that Dom should have addressed or whatever. Just know that if you're listening to this and all this is sounding coherent, even if you don't know what you're good at, just know that you're in a good place because you're at the beginning. You're still trying to figure out, and there's no hurry. There's no rush to anything because as soon as you can lock into yourself, you'll figure that shit out in a second. You figure it out in a second. It's just blocking all those other people out. I think that's the key. This is advice from an introvert, of course. Block all those people.
Everyone else, fuck them. You don't need them. All right, we got questions.
I have a circle of people, just a small one. Okay. 1 second. You know, I should. Can I say something? Okay. Because we've been talking a lot about childhood here. And I want to mention something that you do that reminds me a lot about something that used to piss me off when I was a kid. So I often get shit from my friends that when I used to play baseball, we played in a field where there was no fence on the left field side. It was just a fence on the right side, and it was just all open fucking field, like just 70 yards left field. Somebody could hit it over your head, and it's infinite. So a lot of times, if I'm playing the outfield, yes, I'm Dominican. If I'm playing the outfield, and say, for example, I'm on center field. Now, you may not know this, but the etiquette, not even the etiquette, the rule when you are teammates with someone is if someone hits the ball in the air and you're about to catch it in center field, the left fielder or the right fielder, depending on where the ball is hit, whether it's left center or right center, the left or right fielder is supposed to back up the center fielder, right?
What
get behind them, get in the vicinity just in case the center fielder drops the ball.
Okay.
Just in case they drop it. So in this particular field, if I'd be playing left field where I told you it's infinite, somebody could hit it way over my head. So say, for example, the ball was coming at me. If a kid was playing center field, he would just look at me as the ball was coming to me instead of hovering in my area. So then if the ball gets away from me, he can get to the ball quickly. So instead, what used to happen in the field is if I dropped the ball, I got upset. Because, number one, because I dropped the ball, and number two, because you didn't back me up as my teammate. Because my teammate didn't back me up. So, in this podcast, I've taken that long detour to explain this. So, in this podcast, when I'm looking at my phone for something on Snapchat, and Dom isn't saying anything, it is exactly like someone not hovering around me when the ball is coming in my direction.
Yeah, did you find the questions, though?
It ain't,
get him?
It ain't no Ralph though. No,
I'll take over right now if you want me to take over.
No.
Wait. No, in fact, I'm gonna take over for a minute.
No, you're gonna do another cowboy freestyle. That's not necessary.
No, I was gonna talk about Tussin, dude. I'm gonna talk about Tussin.
Can I ask a question? Are you really gonna do that?
Look. Tussin is the best. All right, let's go.
Okay. So Jalen Levingston asks, what is one of the funniest moments on your podcast, from this podcast, and do you ever think of anything you've said in an old episode that you no longer agree with now? Thank you, sir.
My top one has to be when I didn't know why you were behind the counter of a place that you worked at. I had this moment where I just did not understand.
Okay.
And you were telling a story and I just couldn't get it. Like, it was so weird for me.
Okay.
Even just now. No bullshit. Even just now.
But that was listening to it in retrospect or when you were doing it?
You know what? Honestly, I don't even know that I got it at the time. Even, like, I'm saying even now, I was like, he worked there, right? He worked at Sam Goody, right? Yeah, so it's still a thing for me, like why you're behind the counter.
Okay,
it was, but just the fact that I made you explain this story like 5 times. I did it
many times.
It's such a minor detail that it perplexed me so much.
Many times. Yeah,
I'm an idiot. What about you?
Yeah, that's a moment that people still ask me about on Snapchat. They're like, dude, what podcast is that on? I know.
Why were you?
I know Jewel would know. I know several
Yeah, you
people.
would.
Several people would know which podcast that's from. But please let us know in the comment section which one that is.
Episode 121.
Actually, it's not 121. It's 165.
There's something I've changed my mind about. For
Wait.
sure, man.
I'm sorry. Are you on this fucking podcast by yourself? Can I answer the fucking question?
I thought you answered.
No, I
Sorry.
didn't. I don't really have a. So look at me. I'm saying, can I answer it? I don't really have an answer.
You fucking idiot.
I don't really have an answer. Man, if I could remember a time where I just fucking laughed and I don't know why I was laughing. It was just a silly moment, and I know this isn't the funniest moment. There's just been so many episodes. I mean, we're getting close to 200.
Yeah.
There was one time when you were doing an Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation.
Yeah.
And for some reason, when you kept saying halal, I kept imagining about Arnold Schwarzenegger saying halal, as in halal
Right.
food, and you just kept going halal. And I don't know what it was, man. I don't know if I was drunk when I was doing the podcast. Like, I've been drunk and high maybe through, I would say maybe 15 episodes.
That
rarely.
is insane because I've been sober through all of these.
You've never been drunk or high throughout any of these episodes.
I've had like 1-2 drinks maybe.
Because you're a pussy. Okay. But
I couldn't be high, dude. I would leave.
okay. I get it. Oh, believe me. I mean, I had an edible earlier today, but it's pretty much worn off. But
Like, what is life? Like, what is it?
That's my impression of myself.
Spike, we know exactly what life is for you, Spike.
Hey, man, life. I'm going to tell you right now, okay, buddy?
Spike,
Life.
listen, no. Before you start, Spike,
All right, go ahead.
I want to say that you are an important person in the Double D's universe because you are a Trump supporter. Like, that's your
Yeah.
thing. You got the MAGA hat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How do you feel now that he's president? Now that there's suspicion that what is it? His Secretary of Defense. I'm not even sure what the fuck the guy was. Flynn was apparently talking to Russia, communicating to Russia, and
It's
Trump
all bullshit, man.
may
It's
have
all
not
bullshit.
known this.
First off, it's all bullshit by fake media, fake news organizations. I know this because of InfoWars. My good friend Alex Jones talked about this. It's fake. Second off, why wouldn't we want to be friends with Russia? It's good. It's good shit. They're all white. They don't like gay people. They don't like blacks. Sorry, it's good. Anyway, I want to say what's good about life is my wife's black. Actually, did you know that?
No, I didn't, Spike. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I can't be racist.
Okay, automatically.
Yeah, I fuck a black woman every night. I mean, actually, every week. She doesn't like me that much anymore. We don't have that much sex anymore. I mean,
Because you
whatever.
voted for Trump.
I mean, partially. To whatever. Don't matter.
All right.
Anyway, life is good. No, I want
All
to
right,
keep talking.
Spike, shut up. Let's answer the question. Okay,
My throat hurts.
is there something that you said on the show that you don't agree with now?
The Trayvon Martin stuff during that thing. Yeah, I remember being like kind of iffy on some of the details, and I still am. Like,
What did you say about Trayvon Martin? I don't remember.
I remember saying that like,
We had a fucking show when Trayvon Martin was a thing.
yeah, dude,
I don't remember that.
yeah, I think we did. I'm pretty sure we did.
Definitely Mike Brown.
Excuse me. Yeah, but I remember the Trayvon thing. Like, I don't think I was on board with BLM at the time. Like, I didn't. That didn't even come out at that point. Yeah, it wasn't even in existence. But I remember the Trayvon Martin thing. Obviously, I was like, Zimmerman is guilty, but I think I didn't realize the scope of how shitty it was, how shitty of a situation it is. Just historically, just like looking back at it, like when you look back at it now about like the still stand your ground law, and it is a law. But, like, how fucked up that even exists. I don't think I was as mad as I am about it now. Like, I think I was a little more lenient on that whole situation. I don't know. I changed my mind a little bit on that one.
Okay. Again, for me, can't think of what it is. I like to quote the great Jim Norton here. When I want to be truthful. I don't want to be right. I don't know. So whatever I said was truth to me at the time. So if I disagree with it, I can't think of what. I don't think I make any big grand statements that I would question now. I don't think so. Maybe I
on episode 120.
You don't. No, there's no archive. You don't know
said
about stuff
yes.
like that.
You said you want to fuck a dwarf woman. That's what you said.
I would never fuck a dude. If I ever see a porn with a dwarf, I never click it. It's so disgusting.
I think I watched one the other day.
I'm more likely to watch a porn with a dwarf man because I watch it in amazement that this incredibly hot woman is blowing this little man child. And I'm like,
that's weird for me. I'd rather watch the woman. That's weird.
No, because I have to be attracted to the woman.
Oh.
Yeah,
anyway,
I'm totally
what's the next question?
I'm sorry if you don't view them the same way that I do.
My reaction. Oh.
I'm indifferent to the dude. I don't give a fuck. So it's just like, I mean, in that case, it is this little weird thing where I'm just like, oh, this is nasty. She's having sex with this dwarf. I just keep jerking off. But she has to be incredibly hot for me to get into it, though. Yeah. Are you going to read one or you want me?
Oh, shit. Yeah, you read the next one.
Okay, this question comes from the Kaiser Chief.
Kaiser Chief.
Oh, the Kaiser. Oh, okay, sorry. My question is listening to hip-hop a young man's thing? My uncle and dad don't listen to it at all anymore. I'm 21, and I can feel myself losing interest. Is it a young man's thing? Obviously, the obvious answer to this would be, what I'm assuming is that you mean is listening to current hip hop a young man's thing, because somebody who's 40 years old can still listen to Coogee rap, and I'm sure that they're locked into it. Is listening to XXX Tentacion, as Dom likes to say, is listening to him a young man's thing? I think it all depends on what sort of adult you are. If you're an adult that can compartmentalize what that music is and that it's not for you, as a hip hop commentator, I have to ignore. You have to ignore the idea of what's being marketed to you. You almost have to erase your age, your demographic as a whole, because the answer to anything that you have to say would always be, well, that's not for you. It's not being marketed towards you. Sort of like Meryl Streep. When Meryl Streep made the criticism of UFC, a UFC fan could practically say, well, you're not within the demographic of the UFC. So what you're saying, it doesn't apply to you. But what I mean is that if you're the sort of adult that can compartmentalize and say, well, this music is just meant for, it's just for the kids, it's just meant for fun, you can listen to it. But if you're going to be the sort of adult, the sort of dick that sort of wants to identify and see himself in the music, absolutely, you're too old for it. You're too old for it, because I think you've gotten to the point where your life is so fucking miserable that you have to unload all that you are in the music. What makes it easy these days is that a lot of the music today is not technically sound. And if there's one thing that we got from everything in the past, is that everything had lyrics and it was technically sound. And the ironic thing is that music has more of an opportunity to be perfect now with the capabilities that Pro Tools has, and how mixing a track can seem seamless. And you listen to old records that you like. For example, I know I'm going off on a tangent, but I made a video about Jay-Z and Nas's Renegade song. If you listen to that song, the very last chorus is offbeat. And I've always noticed that. Yes. If you know, it's not incredibly obvious, but it is offbeat. And that is a sort of authenticity of music that you're never going to get again. That's authentic. That track hasn't been it's not tossed to the wolves because the last, obviously what they did was they laid the acapella over the beat. But now with the capabilities, these plugins that these audio programs have, everything is perfect. You know what I'm saying? So now that music, ironically enough, has more of an opportunity to be perfect, it is so imperfect because the technique of the wordsmith is lacking. So a long answer to your question is it depends on the person that you are. It depends on what you're looking for. Do you understand what you're listening to? That would be my answer.
That would be my answer.
That's such a weird way to end the statement.
That would be my answer.
My answer is I agree with what d.respect said. Okay. Question from Izzy Does Life. Two-part question, okay?
If there was one food that you could magically take away the effect from, as in you could eat it, but you couldn't gain weight from it, what food would you choose?
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Give me Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. I'm a happy man.
You're crazy, dude.
Reese's Peanut Butter. What am I supposed to say? A beef Wellington?
Look. If you said something like anything that's made of peanut, right? Then you go peanut. No, actually, that's one food. Yeah, you can't. Okay, never mind. It's still crazy. Peanut butter cups?
Wait. So Izzy's question was, if you could
one food,
yes,
you can magically. So technically, in this magical world, if you could eat Reese's peanut butter,
wait. Maybe I didn't understand the question. Go ask it again.
If there was one food that you could magically take away the effect from, you can eat as many of them as you want and taste it and have the great experience of eating it, and you will not gain weight from it.
Oh, okay.
No caloric intake.
Oh, okay. I got you. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Nigga.
Dude, you're dumb.
the fuck
My
answer?
answer, pork.
Okay.
All right. Mm-hmm. Anything. So this means that if I eat some sort of patty that has pork in it, if I had eat any, I'm having a stroke right now thinking about it. If I eat any pork products, the pork is magically not in it. It's beautiful. It's delicious. It's amazing. It's amazing, and it's great.
Okay.
Pigs. All right. Also, last question. If Double D's were to ever hit it big,
no, it's not the last question. We got another good one after that. Come on.
Which of you guys is likeliest to cash their big first check and spend it on something reckless like a golden do-rag or something along those lines?
Who would be more likely to do that?
Yep.
Well, obviously, with my last answer, I'm obviously a minimalist.
Yeah, you're not really. I don't think either of us are material. No. There's no. I don't think we're not materialistic people. Like I don't care about things. All right.
What I care about things. I care about things a lot less than you do.
No. Yeah. 100%. Because I mean,
get a better computer. Get a better computer. You better get a computer.
That's me. That's what I sound like.
Yeah, that's what you sound like.
Yeah, so it would be me because I like having like 4 monitors in my fucking yeah.
You.
I'm gonna record. I'm ready. He has a podcast by himself that no one else listens to. Bruce Wayne.
You're listening to the Bad Hour. The child of Ratha Ghoul.
Stupid.
So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be very likely to. No, that wouldn't be me at all. All right, the question that I wanted to get to is I'm sorry. Look, I can't even dig it up. Okay, so Kicks on the Moon.
Oh, good man.
Says, is New York worth the crazy rent? I want to move there. Let me give you some bars.
He's from the UK for context.
Oh, he's from the UK? Oh, shit. Yeah. Whoa, that's a big move, dude.
Yeah, man.
Where in the UK is he from?
Definitely England. I don't know where.
England from bloke. Yeah, bloke. I
said from bloke.
From bloke. Yeah. Kicks on the Moon. Let me answer your question, even though I sound like I'm Australian. Every time I try to have an English accent. What I want to say to you is this, mate. New York City is very expensive. And if you want to live in the really nice places like Manhattan or just recently Brooklyn, it's like there's a lot of people in this city who are, late 20s, 30s. There's so many people, so many women that I've met live with like 2 or 3 other people. because they want to live in these areas that are close to transportation. That's big for a lot of people too. It's not just about living in the cool place, man. It's obviously if an apartment is closer to transportation, that raises the value of the apartment. So people want to be closer to that. They don't want to be. Look, I've lived in several neighborhoods in the city where I had to take a bus to get to the train. I've lived in the most rural areas in the city to the busiest areas in the city. So I've lived all over New York City. So I can confidently tell you that the best place that you're going to get a bang for your buck, in my opinion, is the Bronx. The Bronx is the best place where you're going to get a bang for your buck, because the Bronx is the only place where it's quite conceivable that for $1,200 to $1,300 a month, you're going to have a huge one-bedroom apartment. $1,300 a month in Manhattan might get you a studio apartment that's the size of a closet. It's ridiculous. Manhattan is crazy. I mean, I live in Manhattan, but I'm in sort of a different situation. Witness protection program.
He's homeless.
I live in a Panasonic box right by the 2 train. So what I want to tell you is that I don't know how more expensive, how many more pounds it would be. So you got to weigh in the currency, mate. That's what you got to do in order to figure this out.
God.
But New York City is worth it because, and I'm going to sound like a typical New Yorker when I say this, because of the diversity. The diversity is what makes you a New Yorker. It's what makes you tolerant of other people's cultures. It's what shouldn't make you all hot and bothered when someone like Donald Trump says ignorant stuff, because although you're within this bubble where everyone gets along, and that's a problem with a lot of New Yorkers. So many New Yorkers are so opposed to an idea like that. They hate it vehemently because we are in such a comfortable bubble. I'm sure people in DC, it's the same thing. We're in such a comfortable and educated and so evolved area that we think that the rest of the world works like that, but we completely we dismiss the idea that because we're sitting to somebody who's of a completely different culture, they come from a place where everybody is just like everybody else. So they think differently the way that we do. So we just cannot get how anybody would be for immigration, for Trump's immigration laws. We just don't get it. We don't get it because we are inside our bubble. We're inside our bubble. So we see the world as we see it. It's very, very pie in the sky, very advanced. We're on 10, and a lot of people are on 0. They're not there yet. They can't meet us there yet. You know what I'm saying? But as a New Yorker, that's what you gain. You get the diversity makes you a much more evolved person. So it's worth it. It's worth it, and you also got to factor in, what do you do for a living, dude?
But if we're talking about the pussy factor, this dude has a British accent.
Okay.
You know how much tail he's gonna pull, dude.
Okay. All right. Me and you at a bar. You're the chick. Hey, what's up? Hey, my name
my
is,
God.
my name is Kicks on the Moon.
That's a weird name, but it's like totally cool because you're like foreign. That's cool.
Yeah, Kicks on the Moon. I got my answered my question my question answered.
You're stupid, but that's cool.
On the
Keep
Double
going.
D's podcast like 2
What's
months
that?
ago. It's a podcast. 2 guys. I think one of them is African, and the other one's like Korean.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a good show, I guess. Oh my God, I should marry you now.
That was her vomiting.
Choke on me, coke.